Within the theatrical sanctuary of Luthen's Coruscant gallery, this scene functions as the political and operational crucible of the burgeoning rebellion. The true hinge of this interaction is the simultaneous introduction of two women critical to long-term success of the rebellion, Mon Mothma and Kleya Marki. But the first time you watch, you'd be forgiven for thinking you're only meeting one key player here. Mon Mothma became a legendary rebellion authority figure among Star Wars fans from a few brief moments in Return of the Jedi, so she already has an aura. Then there's the posh car, her appearance. It all grabs all of your attention, and you may be forgiven for not noticing Luthen's smartly dressed, alert, and serious-looking partner, which is exactly how she'd want it. Mon and Kleya represent the rebellion's essential dual nature, the legitimate political front and the ruthless operational anchor and security analyst. The gallery is first and foremost the perfect stage for deception. Museums and galleries are common trope locations for secret spy meetings, for instance in Alias, the Thomas Crown Affair, and Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Luthen and Mon instantly snap into their public personas, delivering exaggerated performances of aristocratic camp and senatorial stress. Luthen favors big, sweeping, wide-arm gestures meant to show he has nothing to hide. In real life, I'm kind of the anti-Luthen. People are a bit scared of me because I'm tall and very quiet and also have quite the resting bitch face, so strangers think I'm a silently glowering man who hates them. But it's basically impossible to be suspicious or fearful of this specific brand of gregariousness. It's like someone combined Kenneth Branagh's Gilderoy Lockhart, Babylon 5's Londo Mollari, and Uncle Monty from Withnail and I. All of which, of course, we should have been more suspicious and fearful of than we were at first. As I've aged, I've come to better understand that people with this much charm are often hiding something ugly. This elaborate public masking allows the real conversation and exchange of intelligence, fear, and demands to be conducted covertly and even overtly. Luthen's two-faced divinity is the scene's ultimate metaphor, two opposing entities, the public and the private, sun goddess and serpent sharing the same mouth but existing in separate, dangerous realities. Mon is the visible face of the rebellion, its sun goddess, out in the open, visible to everyone, hair the color of fire. Her value lies entirely in her legitimacy, her access to high finance, and her ability to remain politically pristine, but her public prominence is suffocating her ability to act, as is the Empire, which has become interested in her finances. Her complaint about late arriving petitioners and her anxious sigh of "how I need to hear that" seem like desperate flares of genuine exhaustion. She is under siege, being watched, being financially choked, and struggling to maintain the elaborate facade of her public life. Luthen's only going to pile on more pressure during this meeting. In stark contrast stands Kleya, Luthen's lieutenant and the serpent of the operation, hidden, coiled, watching, ready to strike. She is the silent, stern guardian who anchors the rebellion's security. She immediately flags the new driver as a potential threat variable, and when the driver's attention follows Mon, she flawlessly executes a diversion, pulling his focus with talk of terribly interesting coins. Kleya ensures the perimeter holds, providing the necessary window for Luthen and Mon to descend into the private realm of whispers. The mouth might represent how the two women speak as one in support of the same goals, or it might be Luthen himself. His arm of the rebellion isn't exactly a democracy. Only he speaks for the cause, ensuring every action, demand, and risk is calibrated by his sole, uncompromising voice. It may sound like Luthen's having two conversations here, a loud one as a cover and the genuine, quieter one underneath, but I think they're the same speech. Every public statement serves as a pointed message to his asset. Free your mind, Senator, this is a place where time stands still. Humbled by the insignificance of our daily anxieties. Mon is consumed by daily anxieties of surveillance and paranoia and cannot think clearly. Instruction: step back, Senator, stop focusing on the minute political threats and focus on the long game, like the history that surrounds you. Referring to the gallery as a temple of patience is telling her to endure. Yours is a rich history. I think this one is very sarcastic. Mon complains about her husband's day-of-day custom and the burden of her Chandrilan heritage. Rebuke: your established wealthy background is precisely why you have the access we need. He is also scorning the comfortable political class that created the conditions for the Empire to rise in the first place, a jab at the cultural stagnation that keeps her husband obsessed with military artifacts rather than fighting real oppression. Mon's "that's a kind way to put it" is a classic upper-class deflection, proof that she's picked up on what he's laying down. When Mon complains about the burden of her husband's military tastes, Luthen offers a Utapuan monk cudgel. Luthen reminds Mon that she is surrounded by the tools of power, but she must stop treating them as harmless historical artifacts like Perrin does and use them as real weapons to support the fight. Luthen escorts Mon to the back, and the pressure culminates when Mon suggests bringing in a new person to help with funding. Luthen vehemently shuts down the proposal, prioritizing security over growth. This confrontation exposes the fundamental chasm between their respective definitions of vulnerability. Mon sees vulnerability as personal collapse, the terror of being exposed, politically ruined and potentially punished severely. Luthen sees it as an operational rupture, the introduction of an unmanageable variable that could dismantle the entire network. Mon's final angry retort, "Don't lecture me on vulnerability, no one's more at risk than I am," is her declaration that the emotional price of her mask is starting to exceed the price of Luthen's network. Luthen raises his voice again, ending the exchange with a theatrical offer to loan the two-faced artifact, forcing Mon to snap back into her smiling, grimacing senator persona. On the surface, it's about a risky gift, but underneath is a message to Mon, part reassurance, part warning, and part instruction. If he doesn't love it, if the cover story doesn't fly, if the role you're playing at home becomes untenable, I'll be glad to take it back. I can undo this. You're not locked in, yet. It's a daring choice. This entire visit, this entire alliance, your double life is dangerous. You've stepped into something bold and risky. I trust you'll have the courage to turn back if it should be a bit much. On one level, it's almost patronizing encouragement, a bit of reverse psychology, a little negging. It's cheap, but it's effective. Luthen's telling her, this starts getting real now. There are no risk-free artifacts here. Mon smiles for the driver. Kleya stays watchful. Luthen laughs, playing the man with no worries in life. This is the cost of rebellion at its highest levels, an emotional exchange rate measured in false civility and forced composure. The sun goddess returns to the light, the serpent coils in the dark, and Luthen, the mouth between them, speaks both languages fluently. The rebellion can't afford transparency yet. For now, survival means smiling while the Empire slowly chokes you with a gloved hand.